Today Show, the show for Colorado seniors that provides real information to gain and keep ultimate independence. Senior Living Today is brought to you by Visiting Angels and other fine sponsors. Now, here's your host, Dave Ritterling.
Good morning and welcome to the Senior Living Today Show, the show about seniors for seniors and those of us that love them. I'm your host, Dave Ritterling with Visiting Angels, and I am so glad that you've taken the time this weekend to stay with this show. We've been doing this show since 2006, and we are delighted to be back on KCSJ 590 here in Southern Colorado. Hey, this show is all about independence. It's all about helping seniors to stay independent, and that means being aware of our physical, our financial, being aware of the things in our lives that tend to debilitate us. And so at the Senior Living Today Show, we really focus on subject matter that helps us to really embrace that. The programming for the month of January has been total knee, total joint replacement, because that's a big thing. And I think it's also important to me because I am a new patient of the Parkview Joint Center, and just having a knee replacement, I'm walking, no pun intended, through, feeling like I've gone through something major in my life. And so if you've been listening for the past month, you've heard not only Nurse Baxter from the Joint Center, but also Dr. Drew Ritter has been with us for a couple of shows talking about that. So this is our final show for the month of February, and it's really the physical therapy piece. It's about after the surgery and after we've gone through this event. It's about the great people that bring us up to speed and get us back to where we need to be and more. So I'm grateful to have in the studio, my therapist is here, Stephanie McEvoy, and she's a physical therapist. I know she's from New Mexico, and she holds a doctor's degree in therapy stuff from University of New Mexico. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
And you're from Physical Therapy Connections, and we love the organization. Chad Clark, who started the agency a long time ago, has been on the show before and has helped so many people. So I'm just delighted you can take the time today of helping people like me get to a place where they can actually bend and stretch, do the bend and snap once again. So it's great to have you here. Tell me about your job and what you do as a physical therapist.
That's a big question. There's a lot to what I do. In a short summary, it's not just about coming in with a knee replacement and this is a knee and every knee is treated the same. It's a really mind, body, and soul. Everything has to be rehab together. So your knee might have certain needs with strength and range of motion, but you as a person, those needs go far beyond what is important.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great point. And one of the things that really, I've had knee surgeries before, and I never got physical therapy, and I think down the road I paid a price in my ability for mobility. But what I've noticed is that there's so much more than just rehabbing a knee. And when I walk in there, I'm already feeling like I'm struggling with this thing, and I feel like I'm never quite long enough. But when I sit down with you, you make me feel okay, and you let me know that where I am is pretty normal, and then this is what we have to do to get you back to where we need to be. And I really feel that team approach from you and the rest of the team when I go in there. It seems like you're usually there for me most of the times, but then you hand me off to people that have specialty areas and they work with me. And I leave with such a sense of accomplishment. I may not have gained a lot of degrees of motion, but I leave there feeling like I accomplished something. And so I'm just saying the emotional aspects and the motivational aspects are so helpful, because those of us who've been through a surgery, the only reason that we get into the surgery to begin with is because we see ourselves golfing again or doing an event that we no longer can do. And now we've gone there, and now the next step to that reality is sort of going through the toughest part, which is the physical therapy. And there's no doubt about it. It's definitely the toughest piece, and everybody will tell you that.
Absolutely.
So, so in your day, it's so the emotional piece is so important, and the affirmation of that is so important. What kinds of things do you deal with on a daily basis? Yeah, I came in with a big old knee that needs to be rehabbed. Give us the scope of the kinds of things that you do for people as far as rehab.
Well, we start off looking at movement patterns. So we want to know how you move, get a baseline. And then from there figure out, now what do you need to get to enjoy life again? Because that's great if you can bend your knee, but like you said, if you can't go golfing again, what's the point?
That's right.
So finding what really encourages people and motivates them, setting those goals so they know, oh yeah, I'm here for a reason. I'm getting to my end point and getting back to things that I enjoy. And getting the knee to bend again and walking faster and doing all the things that I might be paying more attention to is a lot of in-between work.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, certainly the main goal of getting you to be able to move so you can enjoy the things you love.
You know, I kind of thought the way it would be is I'd come in and you'd say, take a seat on that bike over there. Well, I really can't get around the pedals. You will. You know, here comes the, and then you're over there just driving me. It's not like that at all. It's really encouraging. If I come in and my knees swelled or it's just not right, we try to get it back to where we can move. We exercise, we get it going so that it's at its optimum, so that it can perform. Because I've been really hard on myself. I've been walking too much. I've done way too much, and so I come into you and it's sort of like you're already you got a swollen knee to deal with. So. But I think that everybody's probably really different. I mean, I'm not probably the typical guy who comes in with a knee. Do people come in? Are you doing a lot of shoulders? Do you do? What is the total range of the scope of the services that you all provide at Physical Therapy Connections?
We have a large scope of things, from after surgeries like you're dealing with yourself, from shoulders, backs, knees, necks. But we also deal with sports performance type of issues, athletes who maybe sprain something. They didn't need surgery, but they certainly need to move better, or work on just their performance level. And then there's categories of plantar fasciitis.
Like people that get the wart growth underneath.
Not necessarily wart growth,
Okay.
but pain, intense pain in the heel, the first step out of bed, and so some of those pains don't require surgery, but they certainly are movement oriented. Anything with movement, that's our specialty. Even things not so much movement oriented, like incontinence, that has to do with the health of muscles. So there's a lot of people out there who either don't want to talk about incontinence or think that I'm getting older, that's something I have to deal with. Not true.
Yeah.
Just a little retraining can go a long way. And
Well, that's good to know too, because as far as seniors go, as far as their independent living, they have to be continent to be able to be in assisted living, for instance, unless you have a full-time caregiver. And so that's a real motivation as well, to keep that independence. Interesting concept for me is that, if it's a muscle, it's got to move, and it's sort of like moving into something that could be a little painful. There's no doubt that when you're moving something that's not used to being moved, it's not as comfortable as you'd like to expect it. But I think when you bring the kind of mechanics and the kinds of things that I know you're doing with me, you make it bearable. You get the muscles ready to go, and you pull it around and do things to it that don't hurt, but yet enable me to do more than I thought I could do, and that's really motivational.
And good, yeah, you definitely hit on a point of, a lot of people are thinking, ooh, therapy, that's pain and torture, right? That's no pain, no gain. And that's not our philosophy at all. We have lots of different ways to go about, like you said, working out things not in a non-painful way to still get the results that we want. And traditionally, therapists are taught across the nation that to drive to that end point and that painful point, and you're going to upset things and then you got to calm it back down. But what we've learned is that when you don't make it angry in the first place, it'll move a lot better for you, whether it's a knee or any other muscle in the body. So we've found good ways to approach that.
Yeah, no, I think that's right too, and I got that same from Dr. Ritter as well, and with the meds, and not just because you're getting something done and you're trying to expand your range of motion, etc. It doesn't exactly mean that equals pain. And I think a lot of your job is overcoming that with people that have that perception that, I need to get more range of motion, and this is just going to be horrible, and then you get in and find out that, I can do this, and every little bit just really, really feels good.
Yeah, and not even with just like a knee where you're very driven and motivated and you're like, I'm ready to go back to that golf. Let me push this knee as much as I need to. And sometimes it's too much and we gotta, pull the reins a little bit and go, okay, don't make it too angry. We gotta keep it happy. Same thing with even like a kink in the neck. Someone will wake up and go, oh, that hurts, and they'll keep wanting to irritate it. You wouldn't believe how much better off we are going either in an opposite direction, using an opposite side of the body, or just creeping up on emotion rather than just driving things home right away.
Sure, it's just an amazing to understand how the muscles are. I mean, watching you manipulate it, and there's muscles and things that I don't understand, but it's pretty complex, and it's just amazing at how you guys can get that knee joint to do things. And I'm thinking it's never going to do again. So that's neat. Now, what got you in, Stephanie? What got you into physical therapy? How did it become such an interesting point of study for you?
When I was in high school, I had an aunt who approached me after she had needed some physical therapy. She said, you would be a great physical therapist. And at the time, I had wanted to be in the health field, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I thought, what on earth is physical therapy? I had no clue. So I went to PCC and got enrolled in a class for Introduction to Physical Therapy. When I learned what it was about, I was like, this is great. I can help people and I don't have to use needles or a scalpel or anything invasive. So that got me on the road to physical therapy.
What about the sports? Have you done the sports part too? Is that part of your training to be involved with sports injuries and trying to help the football team, etc.?
There's not a strong bias to athletics versus rehab in a hospital setting versus outpatient where we are, where people are more mobile. There's just a little bit of everything in school. So you get from being in like an ICU and just be in range of motion while the person stays in bed. I mean, it could be a big success to just get them to the edge of the bed. Whereas when we're in a setting like outpatient physical therapy, then people are already walking and moving, and that's a lot of fun because we can hop and jump and skip and see progress from walking with a walker to walking out the door with a smile on your face, a little bounce in your step. And then there's a neuro side of things. So someone who's had a stroke and working with getting the side of the body that's involved working again. And there's a whole pediatric field that is separate than some of the other settings that is just a whole different world sometimes. Different pieces of therapy that all meet in the middle.
Well, that's great. Well, this is helpful. What a great discussion, too. We're talking with Stephanie McEvoy, physical therapist at Physical Therapy Connections. They're located over at the Pueblo Athletic Club. Really easy to get to. And we're really talking, we're closing out our series this month on total joint replacement and how all these components come together. You're listening to the Senior Living Today Show. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back after these brief messages.
There's no matching the services Montgomery and Stewart funeral directors provide. Some funeral homes try to match their prices, but if the quality behind thoughtful, professional, personalized service is important to you when taking care of your loved one, there really is no match. And since 1922, Montgomery and Stewart has remained aware that hometown ownership and operation means a lot. But it's not just being located in our community that counts, it's being active in it. Go to MontgomeryStewart.com or visit them at 14th and Main in Pueblo.
Sometimes in our lives, we need a little help. Whether it's you or a loved one, consider Visiting Angels to provide the personal care you deserve. Visiting Angels has been serving Southern Colorado since 2000 and has been selected in the nationwide Home Care Leadership and Excellence Award for 2014 and 2015. From 1 to 24 hours a day, Visiting Angels provides your loved ones with experienced caregivers who provide the love and companionship to keep you in the place that you love the best. With hygiene, transportation, meals, and light housework, and you'll appreciate the long-standing Better Business Bureau's rating of A+. So when it's time for you to get a little help, call Visiting Angels at 543-4220. That's 543-4220. Or go to visitingangels.com for more information.
We're back at the Senior Living Today Show, and I'm your host, Dave Ritterling with Visiting Angels. What a great opportunity just to share with you how happy I am to be back on 590 KCSJ here in Southern Colorado and the Senior Living Today Show. You can go to my new website, seniorlivingradio.com, and we're going to have some of the shows and information on the radio station as well, so you can do that anytime. You can go like us at our Facebook page, Senior Living Today Show, and let us know if there's guests that you'd like to have on the show. or you can get a hold of us very easy. I'd love to have your feedback and love to be your friend. So the Senior Living Today show is one of these shows that is designed to serve seniors in Southern Colorado. I have many people who listen from all over the world on iHeartRadio.com. So if you happen to be away from Colorado and you want to hear the show, love to have you join us from somewhere else. We're finishing up on total joint replacements this month, and I think that the final piece of this is the rehab, the physical therapy that goes into a decision to get a joint replacement. And so with me on the show is Stephanie McEvoy, and she's a physical therapist at Physical Therapy Connections, which is at the Pueblo Athletic Club. And she's been so helpful in my rehab as I begin to go through this process of getting that leg to work like I want it to learn. So thank you, Stephanie, personally, for all you've done to help me. And I've got a long way to go, but I'm thanking you in advance.
You're very welcome, and you're certainly a pleasure to work with.
While we're talking about, certainly, we know that joints are a big part of seniors, and it's the knee, and it's also the hip that we predominantly talk about. But we were talking a little bit about another big one is shoulders. And I know seniors, I know many seniors that have as many shoulder problems as they have knee problems. Which do you see more work in? Shoulders, knees, hips? Where does that mostly come into it for you?
When it comes to recovery, the shoulder is a longer process because it needs a little more TLC right after surgery. So you've got 6 weeks of just passive things, not even lifting the weight of the arm. And then after that, then you can start to lift the weight of the arm, but it's going to be 12 weeks after surgery before you start lifting the covers on your bed again, pulling up your pants after you go to the bathroom kind of thing. Whereas with a knee and hip, man, that first day of surgery, matter of fact, you're up on it, using it again, walking as much as you can. Of course, it's limited, but you're using it as much of its full capacity as you can. Whereas the shoulder, it's a completely different ballgame.
Now with shoulders too, one of the most common ones that I know of is that rotator cuff. And sometimes there's a tear in that. I've had one myself through the years. It was not a surgical event, but it really hampered my ability to even roll the window up on my car, just a certain place that I would go with that. And so listeners that may be listening to the show now that maybe didn't have a surgery for this, they could come in and actually you could work with them on getting that recovered. Is there a point of no return with the rotator cuff, or along that way it could be 5 years it's been a problem? Can you still recover that over time?
There's a lot of factors that it would depend on. But if it's a small tear, the body's great at healing. So if you have an issue with the shoulder, sometimes there's not even an event, like you didn't lift anything or you don't fall down, but you just woke up one morning and you're like, man, today I can't lift my shoulder. I don't know what's going on. And if it's a small tear or strain, body's good at healing. You can kind of work yourself out of it, get a little help from therapy, and move the way you want to. Usually the larger tears do have trauma involved, so there either was a fall or even just repetitive use of a laborer's job. And those bigger tears, once it's torn, either surgery is needed, or there's some cases where people are okay with just raising their arm to shoulder level and they can manage life, and that's okay too, because some people don't want surgery, and mostly those older, frail, or they've got a lot of other health issues, they opt out of surgery, but they want to have as best function as they can, and that's where therapy would come in.
Would people come in just a couple of times a week typically, and you could work with them, give them exercises to do, and just kind of get them engaged again with those muscle groupings or that shoulder that's not been working so well?
Yeah, so there's a range. People will come in once a week sometimes, twice a week. Very rarely do we see people 3 times a week, but surely it could go that way if it was needed. And depending on the complexity of the situation would guide that once a week to twice a week. Or people that live like in Colorado City, far out from Pueblo, travel sometimes factors into that, and they'll come in just once a week and do their program that they learn at home.
So let's talk about hips for a moment. Can't relate to that, but our hips seem to be, from what people say, easier of the two between the knee surgery